A Utah man is accused of crossing state lines to try and kidnap his ex-girlfriend in Glendale. Police say 31-year-old Zachary Priest removed his ankle monitor and left Utah to look for his ex-girlfriend in Glendale. In late October, Glendale police officers found Priest outside the victim's home sitting in his car. When police tried to arrest him, Priest shot himself, but he survived and was arrested. In his car, investigators found a firearm and tracking devices. A search of his rental home in Glendale turned up more weapons, restraints, and surveillance equipment. Priest is facing a slew of felony charges, including attempt to commit kidnapping and stalking.
2 people dead following a mid-air collision outside of Tucson in Marana.
This marks the second airplane fatality in Arizona within 10 days. Fox 10's Lauren Clark is live now with why. One senator is speaking out on this, but Lauren, you also have some new information on the crash.
That's right, Ellen. We just have a lot of information here to break down. Investigators still on the scene, and federal investigators going to be joining them come tomorrow morning. LA police tape circle a damaged plane and debris as investigators try to determine the cause of a deadly crash at the Marana Airport runway. Pilot Robert Traylor warmed up his plane before he was told something happened.
But I came out to fly my little airplane. We were going to go up to Payson and have breakfast up there at the airport. And there was no indication at the west gate that we could not fly today. Had no idea the airport was closed.
The crash happened just after 8:30 in the morning. It involved a Cessna 172S and a Lancer 360 MK2.
Compared to a Lamborghini or a Corvette, a really hot sports car, whereas the Cessna 172, more like a family car.
Pilot and aviation expert Reed Adon says the Cessna 172 is primarily used for training pilots, unlike the Lancer.
It'll cruise at over 200 miles an hour, so there's an example of just the speed differences. The landing speed on the Lancer is much greater than the 172.
The NTSB believes the planes collided while the Cessna was attempting to land. Authorities say the Cessna landed without a problem, but the Lancer burst into flames. 2 people were on both planes. Of the 4, authorities say 2 walked away unharmed, seemingly from the Cessna. Yadon says the airport is an uncontrolled field, meaning it does not have an air traffic control tower. Rather, pilots communicate their positions with each other.
I'd like to point out all the recent accidents that we've had were at controlled airports. So the uncontrolled airports, there's more of them than there are controlled airports. And they're very safe way to fly.
Now, we are expecting to get some type of preliminary report in about a week from now, but we won't know a cause for many months, probably more like a year and a half as investigators go through that process. Now, Senator Mark Kelly also posting on his X account today saying that he uses this airport quite often, in fact, used it within the past few days, and that his office is keeping a very close eye on the situation. Reporting live here in Marina, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
New details coming in about a murder-suicide in Chandler. Police are now identifying the 2 people that they found dead. And police telling us that they found the bodies of Nathan Ridgely and his sister Jocelyn Ridgely. It happened from a welfare check when a colleague saw that Jocelyn had not logged into work. While the investigation is still pending, they believe that this stemmed from mental issues involving the brother, Nathan.
The firing squad could be the new method of future Arizona executions.
A Republican proposal has now advanced at the state capitol, and our Lauren Clark is live to explain why not everyone is in support. Lauren.
Well, Mark and Ellen, if this passes through both chambers, this would go in front of the voters in 2026. Now, proponents argue that there's issues with lethal injection. It's hard to procure those drugs. It's hard to find qualified personnel, and there's also the risk of botched executions and excruciating pain. However, opponents claim that Arizonans shouldn't be looking for a new method of execution. Rather, they should abolish it altogether. For State Representative Alex Coughlin,
it's simple and it's efficient.
His proposal of HCR 2024 is a logical choice. By amending the state constitution to execute prisoners by firing squad instead of lethal injection, the Scottsdale Republican says various problems are solved.
Firing squad is the more humane way to go. You don't have all these chemicals, these embargoes, things that hold up executions or make it excruciatingly painful.
But at a recent House committee, several speakers spoke out against it.
Instead of switching to a different method of execution that brings its own challenges, the legislature should seek real steps toward transparency and accountability.
The death penalty is cruel and inhumane. It robs people of the opportunity for redemption.
Since Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs took office in 2023, there's been a pause in executions. Shortly after becoming governor, she hired retired federal judge David Duncan to review lethal injection protocols. She later fired him after she claims she lost confidence. Duncan's draft report detailed what he found to be numerous issues with the procedure in the state.
It's like being waterboarded to death or drowning.
He says if Arizona wishes to have a death penalty, it should do so in a manner that is efficient and humane.
There's no doubt that death by firing squad is the most humane method among all of the methods that have been explored, and it is also the one that has the lowest botch rate among all of the other methods. Its botch rate is 0.
And the first execution during Katie Hobbs's governorship is expected to happen in the next few weeks. Aaron Gunches is slated to be executed via lethal injection on March 19th. Reporting live here at the Capitol, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
New video tonight showing a change is in store apparently at Footprint Center in downtown Phoenix. We don't know exactly what this means, but this is of course where the Suns play their home games. The large sign that reads Footprint Center has been removed from the arena. On the left side of your screen, you can view tonight on the right how it looked just days before the change. And again, the reason is still not clear. Do we have a new sponsor? We don't know. Footprint Center logos are still visible on the digital billboards. Now, Fox 10 has reached out to the Suns and the city of Phoenix, who owns the arena, looking for some comment. We will let you know when we find out.
Search crews have recovered the body of a California man from deep inside the Grand Canyon. They got reports, and you can see right there, of a broken wall and car parts scattered in the area. This is east of the Yavapai Geology Museum. An aerial search was launched, leading to crews finding the damaged, almost destroyed car and the victim 1,000 feet below the rim. What led up to it is still being investigated.
We're finding out the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is adding new X-ray scanners, hoping to put a stop to all of this.
Fox 10's Lindsay Regis has been looking into this. She joins us live with details tonight. Lindsay.
Yeah, John and Christina, right now inmates go through scanners similar to what you see at the airport. But because of drug smuggling, they will now have to go through X-ray scanners. MCSO is investigating 2 instances where a dozen inmates overdosed in Estrella jail.
First situation or incident that we had was on February 6th, where we had a call at Estrella jail. 8 inmates were suffering of medical conditions that we recognize to be as possible overdoses.
The second incident was on Valentine's Day. 4 inmates overdosed and 1 of them died. Both times, detention officers found fentanyl.
It was approximately 7 to 8 grams in a plastic bag. Those were removed by the inmate from her body cavity and given to detention officers.
Detention officer Barbara Herrera also found fentanyl in an inmate's cell.
I entered the cell. To the left-hand side, there's a desk, and there's a port where the inmates can set their tablets on and do their visits, and there was a piece of folded paper tucked in pretty deeply into the lip of the charging port and or the GTL via path port. And when I opened up the paper, there was powder substance, and then I turned that over to our intelligence unit, and it was tested where it did come back positive for fentanyl.
MCSO believes this is an inmate-driven problem. Sergeant Joaquin Enriquez expects further charges once they determine which inmate is responsible for bringing in the drugs that caused an inmate to die.
Information is documented that some individuals purposely get booked into jail to bring and introduce drugs into our jail facilities.
When Sheriff Jerry Sheridan took office, he removed body scanners for employees to earn their trust.
He trusts his employees, and he's going to stand by that. That's just detention officers. Every other person coming into the facility that's not showing one of these MCSO badges is still going through those scanners.
Yeah, and MCSO says every jail will get the X-ray scanners. It's a top priority to keep inmates and staff safe. Reporting live, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
14 people are under arrest, firearms and drugs seized after an undercover operation targeting predators who were luring children online.
It is a joint sex crimes operation by the Pinal County Sheriff's Office and the Apache Junction Police Department. Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez is here now to break down what they announced today. Ashley.
They call this Operation Stranger Things. Authorities say they were after the most dangerous individuals in our community, and they were able to get 14 of them off our streets. The operation took place over 3 days, from January 10th through the 12th. All 14 of the predators were men as young as 23 years old and as old as 59 years old. They came from as far as 50 miles away to meet up with these supposed kids. One worked for ICE. One was a military veteran. One was a youth sports coach. Many of them were raising children either younger or the same age as the children that they were attempting to lure in Apache Junction to have sexual contact with. In one case, the child they thought they were talking to was only 7 years old. But instead, it was actually an undercover officer, and they got caught. At a news conference today, law enforcement stressed this is an issue plaguing Arizona, and they think most parents would be shocked by the amount of cases that go unnoticed.
I want to talk about one case in particular where we had a subject show up. He actually was late to our meeting because he had to clean out the back of his SUV so that he could make a makeshift bed in the back of his vehicle so that when he showed up to the park, he could engage in sexual relations with a child that was 14 years of age. I bring that up because it doesn't just show that these people are showing up just to show up. They're actually planning this out. He brought alcohol with him to facilitate to that child, also was armed with a handgun. So if this had been a real child that this subject had encountered, we don't know what could have happened. If that child would have been kidnapped, possibly hurt, or even, murdered for all we know.
It's disgusting, and it makes you angry. And they say this is a serious problem, not just in Pinal County, but in the East Valley and the Phoenix metro area. And they hope to conduct more of these operations in the future, but they stress parents can help them out. Know who your child is talking to on social media. That's how these guys are getting access to these young kids. And these law enforcement departments are all working with Governor Hobbs to strengthen the charges against men who get caught luring undercover officers so that they can be slapped with a dangerous crimes against children charge, which comes with much tougher sentencing.
Driver saved from a fiery crash right on the US 60 and Val Vista.
DPS says a total of 7 vehicles were involved in this fiery wreck. Take a look at this video. This is from ADOT. Earlier this morning, the crash involving a truck, you can see it fully involved in flames there. Officials say it all started when a cement mixer rear-ended that truck. A Chandler officer on scene broke the truck's window, and then an off-duty firefighter actually helped the officer pull that driver to safety just before the truck went up in flames. The driver was taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay.
And a man is behind bars in connection to a shooting at Mitchell Park near Hardy and University Drive.
3 people were shot last week, and 2 of them are in critical condition tonight. Fox 10's Kinsey Beach joins us live with more. Kinsey.
Yeah, guys, Tempe police say this shooting was not a random act of violence, but rather a targeted attack. Police say the man they say is responsible has a lengthy criminal history, and he knew one of the victims.
Your Honor, highly reckless, given that he's shooting into a crowd and striking 3 people.
37-year-old Aaron Sussex has a handful of mugshots. Sussex once again before a judge after police say he targeted a group of homeless people.
He essentially shot into a crowd approximately 10 times.
Residents say it's a park typically filled with families and dogs, but the night of February 12th was a different story.
We heard the gunshots and we heard Ocean barking like crazy. And when we stepped back out, we saw the police cars.
3 people were shot. 2 of them are in critical condition.
As of now, there's been no brain activity regarding that victim.
The Mitchell Park community is now under surveillance after the shooting.
And they brought cameras over here now, so that's a good thing. We're able to bring our kids over here and they feel safe because we have some kind of security over here now.
Sussex has been held in isolation since his arrest. During his court appearance, he was in a separate private room.
I've received information from the sheriff's office that he is still combative and he's been isolated as a potential safety risk to himself or others.
At the time of the shooting, Sussex was on probation for a separate violent violation, and he is being held on a $500,000 cash bond in this case. Reporting live, Kenzie Beach, Fox 10 News.